covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. As always, we appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we are going to spend the entire edition of the Means Report catching up on the hot topics in Augusta. There is so much going on, and we want to make sure that you're up to speed and that I'm up to speed on everything that's happening in the Garden City. We have two Augusta commissioners joining us. What better people than to take us behind the scenes and let us know about the inner workings of Augusta. And then, of course, we'll wrap up this edition of the Means Report, as always, with ways that you can stay in touch with us and help us get more great guests, like our first one, District 2 Augusta Commissioner Stacy Pullliam, a Means Report veteran. Commissioner Pullliam, thanks for coming back. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. And I love that you gave me the veteran title.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so much easier to talk to you now because you're comfortable with the whole setup, and it's just a conversation that we can have for the next little bit. The first question is such an obvious one, but I'd rather have you answer it than me try to explain it to the viewers. What part of town is District 2? Help us picture it, please.
Yes, absolutely. So let's go from Augusta Mall, because everyone loves to shop, right?
Right, yeah.
So that's in my district. So we're going to go all the way down from Augusta Mall to Hurd Avenue. So Pendleton King Park is included in my district. Then I have parts of Gordon Highway that are in my district, Cherokee Plaza. Then you're going to kind of curve over to Richmond Hill Road. There's parts of Turpin Hill is in my area, which is MLK, Peach Orchard. Very, very large territory. I always suggest that people go to Augusta, Georgia government page and just take a look at the boundaries.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's not user-friendly because whoever drew that, I applaud them, but you really have to zoom in and set aside some time to study those boundaries.
You do.
But thank you for describing that for us. All right, you said Gordon Highway, so I'll jump ahead to question number 10 or wherever it was. This past week, we learned that a data center may come to a parcel of land off Gordon Highway. People living in nearby Haynes Station said they didn't know about this. What can you tell us about that proposed data center? Is it a done deal?
So there's still conversations that are being had. And I love that what happens is our constituents, they show up. When they're concerned about things, they're going to fill the room and we're going to answer their questions. And I believe what that does for us as commissioners is lets us know that we need to have more conversations. There need to be more town hall meetings. And just as individuals are coming to the area, that we prepare them for that, to have those discussions.
You also mentioned Turpin Hill when you were describing your district. It was a week before last, I think, where we said that there was some sort of effort underway to revitalize Turpin Hill. Can you kind of enlighten us on that front? Because that sounded like great news.
Yes, it is great news. So I was so honored that first year in, rookie, on the commission, I was able to champion the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing, and we actually became a GIC city, GIC community. Mm-hmm. And so we've been working at getting together a blueprint, which is really going to help us be in touch with the tools needed to revitalize the area. And that program is in partnership with DCA, UGA, Georgia Power. So we're super excited about it. We're in our third year, which is our junior year. Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of be finalizing some things, and then, we'll see where we go from there.
Parks have been in the news a lot, Commissioner Pullliam, and I know that we studied them and are trying to determine which ones to close. Do you think this is needed? If a park's not being used, let's just move on from it?
I definitely think, as far as being fiscally responsible, we need to take a look at what parks are being heavily utilized. There's so many moving parts to that, though. We want to make sure that we are also paying attention to parks that needed major renovations.
Yeah.
Several of those parks were in areas where it's lower to moderate income. And as the mission for Augusta Richmond County is to make sure we improve the quality of life, parks are a major part of that.
They are.
So we want to make sure that our parks are accessible to all of our constituents. So walking 15 miles for one person may be one thing, but Brad, when you're in a walker or you can barely walk, that's difficult.
What about the sale of these parks? I know that's been mentioned. So we find out which ones are underutilized and we sell them. Can purchasers then do what they want with that land, build a home on it, make a little neighborhood out of it? What happens after we sell them? And will the money help the city? Yeah,
and so those discussions are still being had. I love one of the ideas that was brought to the commission, and we're still reviewing that. For Vernon Park, Turn Back the Block, they stepped up to the plate and they said, hey, let us try to go out there and get some grants to save this park. So many of our NGOs and nonprofit organizations are willing to jump in with us and lend a helping hand. It's going to take public-private partnerships, but I believe in a lot of these instances, some of these parks can be saved, especially when it's all hands on deck.
Commissioner Pullliam, some of those NGOs got shut out of y'all's brand new budget. What can you tell us about that? How will they survive? Arts Council, Canal Authority, Lucy Craft Laney Museum, where will they get their money?
Yes, so I am hard at work at trying to make sure that we take a look at not only our NGOs, but our application process. And so that's something that I brought up back in October. And my colleagues, they're listening to me, they're hearing me. And I believe that we feel as though there are better alternatives available as far as the application process is concerned. And the NGOs that have been doing the work that they're supposed to do, everyone that you just named are definitely NGOs that where you see the work that they're doing. Child Enrichment, Mock Academy. There's so many NGOs that provide necessary services to our community. So during this application process that we'll be talking about on Tuesday, we're going to hopefully be able to come up with a resolution, and then our NGOs will start being able to apply for money again,
funding. So what have you been doing? It sounds like you just sort of sat down, put pen to paper, and I'm guessing came up with new criteria that people must meet, that agencies must meet?
Absolutely. Well, it wasn't just that. It was looking at other communities. You have communities like Fulton County, you have Chatham County, you have Columbia County also has a process where, they fund some of their NGOs. There are so many counties, Fulton, I don't know if I said Fulton County.
Yeah.
And I actually took a look at their processes and how they're funding them. Some of them are actually Henry County, one being one of them, are funding some of their NGOs through CDBG funding. And so there's so many creative ways that you can do it. The thing is that we need our NGOs. Even as I brought up child enrichment, the sheriff's office as well as the DA's office depends heavily upon the services that child enrichment offers, because they are that liaison for the children that are involved in criminal activity or criminal cases.
You mentioned the sheriff's office. It did not get the amount of money that it requested. That sometimes happens when people want to be included in the budget, but you all did increase funding for the sheriff's office. Are you comfortable with its ability to protect us?
I absolutely am. I believe that the sheriff's office is doing an amazing job. I often tell people, even around my home, gunshots have gone down significantly. It was something that I was hearing on an ongoing basis.
Are you serious?
Oh, very serious, yes. And so when Sheriff Brantley came in office, that was one of the things I told him, like, hey, we need more patrols around this area. And it wasn't just where I live, but a lot of District 2. And so I believe that the patrols that is happening, I'm not hearing as much about people hearing random gunshots. So they're definitely funding that organization. Funding the sheriff's department is a good thing, but we also need to make sure that we are looking at the things to keep our kids off the street. And there we go back to the NGOs.
All right, let's stay in District 2. Let's focus on Augusta Mall. You're right. You said that people love to shop. We do. Is it okay to go to Augusta Mall? Should we feel comfortable there?
Yes, you should.
Why are there sometimes gunshots there? Why do people get in fights at the mall?
Right, the same way there's gunshots at Central Park in New York, the same way there's gunshots at big events, because there are times where people just act out. And so unfortunately, that's around the world. That's not just at Augusta Mall. So you're taking a risk every single time you leave your home. But I believe that with them upping the security, and then with, again, our sheriff's department doing a great job with patrolling more, yes, it's safe. I can't tell you that you're not going to leave your house and something tragic is going to happen. That is, that's the risk of leaving your house. Yeah. But we are definitely making Augusta a very safe area. I truly believe that.
I think I already know the answer to this question, but I just wanted to ask you while you were here, because you're one of our leaders, can y'all do anything about potential school closures? You talk about the school board looking at closing T.W. Josie High School. People are up in arms, understandably so. Can the commission do anything? So
the commission and the Board of Education, two separate entities, but as a constituent, myself, as a resident of Augusta Richmond County, I can be a voice. And so I encourage everyone to be a voice and to show up to the meetings. It's also going to take things like making sure that there is affordable and workforce housing. And going back to GIC, we just recently passed where we're allowing Habitat for Humanity to apply for a CHIP grant that's going to put 10 more homes. Well, we continue to build out infrastructure and make sure our infrastructure is great and create housing, then the schools have to be open because the children have to have somewhere to go. So those discussions are discussions that where you can voice your opinions with the school board, but I encourage you to go out and apply pressure.
You're right, though, because if the room is full, those leaders are going to hear those voices,
Absolutely.
It's good to see constituents turn out. Listen, another rapid fire session with you, if you will, segment, 11 minutes. But I can't thank you enough for being here and for what you're doing for District 2 and Augusta Richmond County. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Brad. We appreciate you because you keep everyone informed. So thank you for doing that.
I appreciate that so much. Commissioner Stacy Pullliam from District 2 in Augusta. When we come back, we'll head to District 5 and talk to Commissioner Pullliam's fellow commissioner, Don Clark. Find out what's happening in his part of the county on the Means Report.